What are your thoughts on being named Big Ten Freshman of the Week?
I mean, it's really exciting. You know, it was a good weekend for me, but more importantly, a good weekend for the team. You know, came away with 2 big wins against UConn. Played really well, kind of got our feet wet. A lot of freshmen out there. So it was a really good weekend overall.
Okay. So far, you surprisingly lead Purdue with the .467 batting average. What do you think has been the key factor in your instant success as a Boilermaker?
I mean, it's just all goes into preparation. Dunk says preparation brings confidence, and when you get confidence to play, you can do a lot. So I mean, it's just a lot of preparation beforehand, a lot of stuff for the team. You know, just drills. You know, making sure I'm prepared for being at the plate.
Okay.
Did you expect to play 3 different positions like that over the course of the weekend? Is that something you were ready for?
You know what? I didn't. I expected to catch and maybe DH a little bit, but in that last game when I saw first base next to my name, I was a little, you know, I was like, why not? You know, any way to get in the lineup. So.
All right. What are you studying at Purdue, and how do you balance academics and athletics?
I'm a management major at Granite. You know, it's tough balancing academics and athletics, you know, because I am here to get an education, but then again, I am here to play baseball. So it's a lot of time management, a lot of hours in studying, and a lot of hours here. So a lot of my time's taken up with both of those.
Okay. What influenced you to become a Boilermaker, and did anything about your personal background sway you to play here?
I mean, personal background, not really. My dad grew up in San Diego. Mom's from New Orleans, so kind of, you know, nothing really influenced me like that. But they recruited me out there in San Diego. Fell in love with the coaching staff, fell in love with the facilities here, and they took me on official. Just love the atmosphere here and love everything about it here.
I mean, it's definitely a little bit different throwing live in the game, but my arm's coming back just how I expected it to. A little bit sore, a little bit stiff, but throwing a bullpen today, excited for that. Expecting everything to go great and be ready by Friday.
I mean, is it any more soreness than what you usually have in the middle of a season? Or is it just a different kind of, you know, maybe rusty type soreness? Or what?
I think it's pretty similar to what I had indoor. I mean, the most pitches I threw indoor, I believe, is around 16. I threw 85 first weekend in Florida, but it was nice weather. It's a little bit different when you're throwing off the mound with cleats and dirt. But
hold on a second.
Overall, I think that
multiple people want to talk to him.
My arm feels good and back to normal.
Did you feel like you had some rust from a control point of view down there? I know you walked a few guys, and if I read the stat line right, you might have hit a couple guys too. Did you feel like the control was not quite where it needed to be?
Yeah, I was definitely struggling to make some adjustments. The mound was a little bit different than what was indoor.
You want to start with some of those
the nerves, the first game, and excitement.
That's fine. They just want to talk about games.
I mean, obviously, you never want to give that many free bases up, but I feel like by the end of the game, I was starting to do probably my best pitching, but obviously I hit my pitch count, so I had to come out.
What's the next step now? I mean, do you try to just build on sort of how you ended last time?
Yeah, I think definitely just build off of my first game, you know. I'm going to have a good couple days of practice, even though we're heading out tomorrow already, and work a good bullpen, working the ball down, and I expect to go out Friday and throw a lot of strikes and get outs.
Team is?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we definitely played some good baseball down there and came out 2-2, and there were definitely some positives that we could take away from that. I mean, with a young team like what we have, we're going to keep getting better as the season goes on. So I'm pretty happy with some of the things we did this weekend, but I know we're going to keep getting better too. So.
One of the things Robert talked about was the peaks and valleys and maybe trying to become more consistent. Is that something that you try to build on this weekend and as the weekends keep coming here?
Yeah, for sure. That's something we're going to, you know, work on all season as the season goes on. So, we're definitely going to do it as the season goes on. We get more experience. Some of those younger guys get used to playing at this level, and you know, a lot of that is us showing them the way too. So,
just talk about the youth movement on this team and how you've seen them progress. And
yeah, I mean, going in, we knew they had a lot of talent, and I think they kind of solidified that this weekend and showed what a lot of them can do. And you know, there's definitely a lot of good guys on this team, good young guys, and it's exciting to see them play and see what they can do out there.
And lastly, just kind of talk about this weekend's tournament and obviously seeing Samford and Mississippi State. Just kind of talk about.
Right, yeah, two really good teams down there. With, you know, Mississippi State being the SEC and Samford making a regional last year, so it'll be a good test for us. Cool place to play at Mississippi State, so excited to get down there and get after it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right. So what do you think of Josh Estill's breakout debut?
Yeah, he played awesome this weekend. You know, we all knew that he could, you know, he was a good player and stuff going in, so I don't want to say it took us by surprise, but it's always good for to see it happen, especially the first week and going down there and making an impact like he did, so I'm happy for him.
All right. What kind of ceiling do you think he has in his career?
Yeah, I mean, he showed he can hit. He caught a game behind the dish, so he could definitely be a good player, and I think he's got a great career ahead of him here.
All right. What do you think makes events like the Diamond Classic different to prepare for compared to like conference play?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, conference play, we obviously have histories with the teams.
Right.
You know, Mississippi State and Stanford, we haven't been down there. I haven't in the past 3 years. So be a new, exciting experience going down there, getting to play at a cool venue like that. So just, you know, new and exciting, and just going to try and soak it all up.
I felt really good. Excited to get out there for my first start. You know, we had stumbled the last 2 games. You know, I kind of want to go out there and put a stop to that, and, you know, get us back, have a happy flight home.
There haven't been many games where you've given up a couple runs in the first. Just, you know, it seems like you've always been a pretty good starter those first couple innings. Just what was it like to, you know, have to battle back after sort of a rough start? And when did you start to feel, you know, like you had sort of settled in?
Yeah, that's not normally me giving up a few runs in the first inning. I think it might have been just a little nerves. You know, like I said, we had stumbled those first 2 games. You know, I wanted to go out there and shut it down right away. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But after that, I'd gone in, Coach McIntyre and I talked, we started making adjustments. I think about the 4th inning when I started to feel really good, and I don't think I allowed another run from the 4th inning on, so that's when I started feeling really good.
You from what I understand, had a pretty good fall. You know, how did you sort of build on what you were doing toward the end of last year and take that into the fall, and obviously, you know, into your first start this season?
Well, I was really excited that I got the opportunity to start the Big Ten championship game and then the regional game against Kentucky. I took that as I wanted to come back here and continue that. I knew we had Brad Schreiber coming back, was probably going to slot right into that Friday role. Yeah. Kyle Wood, we knew was going to factor into the weekend rotation as well. But I just wanted to keep doing what I do, get ground balls, keep my pitch count to a minimum, and keep my team in the game. And I figured if I did that, I was going to have a very good opportunity to stay in that, you know, number 3 role, and, you know, give my team an opportunity to win.
You pitched into the 5th or 6th often during your career, and then, you know, come out for one reason or the other. What was the difference in this game that you think allowed you to keep hitters off balance, you know, through their 3rd and 4th times at bat?
I think throughout the game I'd made the adjustments that I needed to. I was hitting my locations really well, keeping the ball down. Like Coach McIntyre talked, we want to be knee to knee the whole time, and I had gotten there after about the 1st inning. Kept my pitch count fairly low. I think I was at 116 total, which is not terrible. And my defense behind me, you know, I think we had 3 double plays. Connor Hudnall throwing the guy out at home in the 1st, and then Hanson and Krieg up the middle and double plays, and even Sean McHugh over there, 3rd base, making good plays for me. Kept my pitch count low, and I was able to finish the game.
I would say I feel fortunate. You know, we didn't play well. I didn't think overall, and we weren't as competitive as what I would have liked for us to be, you know, right out of the gate. You know, you can say all the disclaimers that you want with having a younger team and whatnot. We still should be able to have competed, I thought, a little bit better. But, you know, the UConn game, the first game, I thought, you know, we were fortunate to win because we had too many free bases that we gave up. But, you know, we hung in there and persevered through that. We did not show up on game 2 at all. And then, you know, the last day, the doubleheader on the last day, I thought we competed much better. We took Louisville, who was number 4 in the country, you know, tied into the 8th, but we didn't really pressure them offensively, you know, from the 3rd inning on. So it wasn't like we were, you know, had them on the ropes, so to speak. But I mean, we hung in there with them, 4-4 going into the 8th, and then the last game only gave up 1 free base, and Ramer pitched well. But we just didn't do enough. We didn't get enough leadoff hitters on. So I would just say right now we were fortunate, I think, to come out of there 2-2.
You used a lot of guys out of the bullpen. Here in these early weekends, are you just looking for which guys are going to be the ones to step up and sort of take you know, those positions?
I mean, you know, we're not really going down to see who can do what. I mean, I think that's going to materialize. Yeah. But I'm expecting everybody that we put in to do well. And so some guys did better than others, and you know, a couple guys, you know, defaulted a little bit. So yeah, I'm looking for anybody to step up, but anybody I put in the game, I'm expecting them to do well.
You put Minch out a couple times and he struggled. Is just freshman jitters, or was he having some issues with something, or do you expect him to expect and hope him to rebound here?
Yeah, again, I think nerves was a topic of discussion on the weekend, and again, you can't compete if you're nervous. Yeah. And I get the butterflies and having a little bit of anxiety in preparation for and maybe right at the beginning, but that's what competitors do, is they do a good job of flushing that out of their system, whether it's self-talk, we all fight those negative thoughts in our head, but competitors have a way of getting those out and flushing them out. So we did not do a very good job of that, I think. So I don't think that's an excuse of being nervous. I think if anybody, watched Big Ten basketball and saw a player nervous on the court, or Big Ten football and saw a football player nervous on the field, they would say, why is the coach even putting them in? So baseball is no different, and they'd be able to come through. But I think the adrenaline, I think some of the adrenaline was probably high for a guy like Minch, and then just tried to do too much and then got off of what the plan was. But he was wild. He's been wild a little bit in his history, but he has controlled that through the fall and through the winter, and I think his adrenaline just got to him. So to be able to get him back in on Sunday, he actually did better on Sunday, and I thought competed a lot better. His pitches were better. He didn't have any bad misses, over the plate or anything like that. His results weren't great, but you can't always focus on the results as much as that pitch was a quality pitch, and that you got to tip your hat sometimes to the hitter.
Ramer has been a guy who's pitched well for you over 5 or 6 innings, and then offense has sort of figured him out a little bit. What was the difference on Sunday that he was able to go 9 like he did?
Well, he gave up 4 line drive hits the first 4 batters, and so I thought it was going to be a short day for him as well, but he actually got stronger. He got stronger, and I think our defense started playing a little bit better behind him, playing hitters a little bit better. They were going to pull him on the ground, and so, McHugh was on the line and our shortstop in the 6 hole, and they were able to, make some defensive plays behind him. And Connecticut's an aggressive team. So it matched up well for him because they were, I thought, a little bit at times overly aggressive and swinging over the top of his ball that's got some sink to it, and maybe trying to do too much with it. But I give him credit because he persevered through that first inning. We did have a lead, so it gave him a little bit of a longer leash, but he just kept getting stronger.
How do you think Brad came out of the weekend?
Not bad. I mean, his command wasn't as good as what it normally is, and I think not having played and first time competing in 18 months, he probably didn't handle his emotions as well, but he fared well considering. So he had a lot of juice on the ball, and I think now he's got to kind of corral that in a little bit. But it was a positive. I thought, between Wood and Ramer, who gave us just outstanding starts, and Schreiber's start was okay. That's something to work with, I think, moving forward. And now it's just a matter of piecing together some of the middle and late innings, which again I'm feeling good about some of that, and then other ones it's just we gave up way too many free bases, and so another weekend with some more opportunities for guys. They build up a little bit of a history in innings pitched, and they'll start separating themselves. The guys that are going to throw strikes and are going to get more of the opportunities, and then ultimately you got to have guys that just can get guys out. So
you think it will keep the same rotation this weekend?
It may change a little bit. It'll be the same 4 guys, but the order may be a little bit different, and weather is going to be maybe a factor down there with some possible rain on Friday, and that's the day that we're scheduled to have 2 games, so we'll see how it goes. The one thing is if we do get rained out against Sanford, we are playing them the next weekend, so we may be able to talk them into playing a 4th game down there if need be. So,
just being 4 games into the season, is this team where it needs to be at this point, or do you feel like they have more room to grow here?
Lots of room to grow. I mean, like I said, I was a little bit disappointed over the first weekend. I mean, we won 2. We could have lost all 4. I mean, it wasn't, too much to say that Connecticut gets a base hit here or there, or we don't make a play, defensively, and next thing you know, we could have lost all 4. So I think we were fortunate to win 2, but the expectation was to probably go down there to win at least 3. I just didn't think that we competed as well. Like I said, you can't compete if you're nervous, and if we got nervous guys, I mean, they got to figure it out. So I think there's a lot of room to grow. I think physically, and I also think mentally that there's a lot of room to grow.